Hey, I'm the creator of Omneris and the Whipping Witch, and today I will be designing another character for my circus troupe. So last week I designed a little jester character, and this week I am designing a horse riding dancer slash acrobat slash contortionist slash I don't know if there's a proper name for it. But yeah, and the first step for this was learning to draw horses, which is basically what this character is all about. I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to design a bunch of characters and make them a circus troupe, and use each character to get out of my comfort zone in one way or another. And this character will make me draw horses, and I actually decided to make the horse a robot. So that's another thing I'm not the best at. And so I'm drawing a robotic horse. Because why make it easy? And once I was pretty confident in my horse drawing skills, I started the design process by drawing over one of my previous horse sketches. Because I can draw horses now, but that doesn't mean I want to. So yeah, I looked at a few drawings on Pinterest to see what other people had done and find inspiration, but honestly the one that was most inspired by Pinterest was the second one I drew, and I didn't like it as much, so I ended up going for my first design. And once I was pretty satisfied with my horse design, I moved on to the character that would be riding the horse. So I did some quick sketches to figure out the body shape, and then tried out some outfits. The first one read very gymnast, the second one was very ballerina, and then I made a third one that combines the two. And once I had the shape and everything, I had to figure out the colors. I decided that I wanted basically every character of the circus troupe to have purple in their design. I just like purple. I wanted one color to come back in every design, and I didn't really know which one I wanted, so I just picked my favorite color. But yeah, and the horse is brown, yellow, and blue, which is mostly the girl's color palette, but the balance of color is a bit different. And then I decided to do a headshot of my character, because I had no idea what her face looked like from all the little thumbnails I had done. And I decided to give her some fun makeup too. And then I did a full body shot with more detail than I had before, so I could use it as a reference for future drawings, which is kind of the point of this sheet of drawings. By the way, I have no idea how to name her, and well, I haven't really thought about it, but if you have any suggestions, do let me know in the comments. That would be a huge help. But yeah, I started thinking a bit more about the lore of this circus, and I'm thinking that it exists roughly at the same time period as we are right now in our world, so like the equivalent in Omneris. So it's like a modern setting, but they are kind of vintage and old school. And well, it's not really shown in these drawings, but I'm thinking that I want the horse to look a little rusty, like it's an old robot. and I want everything to look kind of vintage and not in the right time period. So for now, I haven't done any drawings in context of the world, so I guess you don't really see when it's happening. But yeah, I thought about that. And I also thought that the horse might have been built by the little jester character. I mentioned last week that I was thinking of making the jester character a fairy in disguise. And fairies are known for their creativity, and they have magic that lets them create basically everything they want. But they can't give their creations any life. So they're basically puppets. They have to control them for them to do anything. But she could just make the horse and teach it how to walk and do whatever it needs to do. And that way I don't have to worry about animal cruelty in my circus, and it actually makes me draw another thing that I'm not very skilled at. So yeah, and that also means that it doesn't have to fully make sense because it's magic. And by the way, I've been calling it a horse, but it's actually a unicorn. Like there's a horn on its brow. So it's a unicorn, a robot unicorn, but it's basically a horse with a horn. So yeah, I'm basically drawing a horse and adding a horn. Anyway, you probably noticed it if you're actually watching the video, but I moved on to my sketchbook and I started drawing my character and my unicorn in movement and, actually interacting with each other compared to what was on my design sheet. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with my sketches. The unicorn doesn't look the same in all the drawings, but it looks like a unicorn. It looks anatomically correct, like the limbs are all moving in the correct way, I think. I hope. And yeah, I really like the colors, and I'm really happy with how the poses of the girl character turned out too. And I think I didn't mention it before, but I decided she would be a human girl. And she's a young adult, I guess. I'm thinking she's between 16 to 19. So yeah, she's pretty young. And human, which means that she will die faster than most of the other characters. And that also means that I can make basically every single character a different species, or like every group of characters, because some characters come in pairs or more. So yeah, we're going to have variety, which is a good thing. By the way, the first horse I drew in my sketchbook literally broke my brain because my reference was facing the other way. And I'm just thinking now that I could have just mirrored it, but I didn't. And I needed to figure out how to draw it the other way around. And yeah, I can draw horses. I cannot draw horses fast. Like, I need to think really hard about the way the limbs move and check my proportions and everything, and yeah, that's not fast. Plus, adding all the mechanical parts takes a little while too. But I'm fairly happy with the girls' poses, as I mentioned before, I think. And that's another thing I wanted to use this character for, to draw dancing poses or contortions, because I really like drawing those poses. I said poses a lot, didn't I? Anyway, like last week, I am taking out my water-based markers, and I didn't use them on the left page because, as you can see, what I draw on the other side of the page is kind of showing through as shadows, and I didn't want to add more that would show up on my jester drawings. So I only used my water-based markers on the right, which means that whenever I draw on the next page, there will also be shadows that I will have to deal with. But those are just quick sketches, just trying to see if I can draw my character and my unicorn robots moving and interacting. I also do not have enough water-based markers for the colors to be accurate. So yeah, it's either too light, too saturated, or too dark, I guess. But the overall feeling of the character is there, and that's good enough. But yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with my unicorn design now. Kind of want to draw it more. Like, I mean, that was the whole point of this, but I didn't think it would work. So that's nice, I guess. Ooh, and last week I mentioned that I wanted to use my jester character to try different art mediums and art supplies, and that I would probably make another video drawing the jester with watercolor, mostly. As for this character, I'm thinking of making a future video where I am going to learn basically 2D animation, and I'm going to make the unicorn robot run. Or I don't know if you say run for a horse, but yeah, the unicorn will be moving and the girl will be doing acrobatics on his back. Its back, her back. Is a robot gendered? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I am going to learn to animate by making a horse move. Because as I said before, why make it easy? Yeah, that's gonna be fun. So yeah, that's probably the next time you'll see this character. But she will come back. If you like her, don't worry. She'll be back. And so will I. But I have a lot more characters to design before then. And yeah, I had a headshot of my girl, so I made a headshot of the unicorn, and I'm really happy with it. Like, once again, I did not expect to like a drawing of the horse I'd made. Anyway, here's the final result. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for another character design.